Greetings and salutations. You are tuning into the Disgruntled Millennial, and as usual, I'm your host, Brett Siegel, where I'm broadcasting to you not live from my safe space down here in North Florida, where I'm always free from your bigotry, racism, hatred, microaggressions, and patriarchy. Today we have YouTube sensation Ms. Tree. She's a black female conservative who lives in the state of Georgia, where she served as a police officer for 5 years and SWAT for 2 years. She left law enforcement to start her own bodyguard business. She relocated to Germany in 2010 and stayed there until 2016, when the Religion of Peace made it absolutely clear that they were not going to let up in that area. She's now back in the United States, where she works as a self-defense instructor, and she's a YouTube commentator. And you can always check out her site, Tree of Logic, on YouTube, where she has some very funny stuff, very good commentary. I've been sort of binging on your videos, and really, really glad to have you on the show today.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate that.
So how long have you been into commentating about politics? It seems to be that
new. It's brand new. I didn't get into it until I was so pissed off for two reasons. I was pissed off that I had to flee from Germany because Merkel thought it was a good idea to flood the places with the Muslims who are just there to actually rape, rob, and not be accountable, and also get a lot of money and a lot of benefits. And it was just one thing I hated about Germany, but I didn't have a problem with it, was they have strict gun laws. Mm-hmm. And they also have the worst self-defense laws, meaning this: if someone breaks into my apartment or my condo, I had a condo over there, and I stab them and they die, I get charged with murder. Okay. So like, if they come in to rape me or even to kill me, I have to stab them to where they're just mildly inconvenienced to where I. So when I started noticing, the way that the Muslim refugees were operating, the way they were attacking women, the way they were attacking people in general, I was like, I'm damned if I do, damned if I don't. Either I allow these people to attack me so I don't go to German jail, or right. I protect myself and go to German jail. So I just left. And when I came back to new problems. I came back to Black Lives Matter losing their damn mind, and the racism that my people project was just mind-blowing. I had no idea that blacks were so open, and white liberals were allowing this racism to just be projected all over the place and make excuses for it. Then the fact that police officers were getting killed. I think I came back about a week or two before the Dallas shooting. And I had so much to say about that. And I knew that if I did, I was going to put myself in danger, but I had to say it because here's two things I was passionate about. The fact, first of all, I was passionate about my hatred for Black Lives Matter. Right. Second thing I was passionate about was how the Muslims were infiltrating Germany, and Germany was like willing victims, and that it was more messed up than what people are told in America. So it was like I was speaking about that from personal experience, and I was like, well, you know what? Let me get on here and talk about it. And even though, conservatives are not used to this type of black woman talking, like, because if you really look at it, she's a potty mouth. Yeah, I have a very, very bad potty mouth. Like, and I'm sassy with it, and I'm a little aggressive. So I was like, they might not, and I didn't think that they were going to accept me. Oh, Mom, they accepted me so well that now I'm on YouTube's hit list. So that was the reason why I got into commentary. It was like I had to speak out against these things. You see, and it, by any means necessary, actually.
You see, I love the potty mouth version, because you know what? There's a lot of things to be pissed off about, and if you soften and temper your language to the point where you're not even really making a point, I don't see that necessarily does any good. Right. Like, for example, the Germans, they're probably feeling super guilty about the Holocaust still. I don't know why. I mean, I'm Jewish, and I don't hold any Germans accountable for what people did back in the day, and that happened a hell of a lot more recently than slavery. So,
Right.
so you got all these people just trying to tiptoe around everyone. And you got this politically correct language that everyone is expected to use, and you're expected to know it too. First it's black, then it's African American, then it's people of color. They keep on changing the language, and you keep on playing this game of cat and mouse where you're trying to keep up. And at a certain point, people like us were just like, fuck it.
Right. Right.
Fuck it. Why would we bother with that nonsense?
Not only that, we are the type of people that says no. We say no. You know what I'm saying? When these people say, no, I'm not a he or she, I'm a they. Fuck you, you're a guy. Okay? I'm not playing that game with you. I say no to a bunch of nonsense. And people are so, not only are they politically correct, right, but they're just basically catering to people's emotions. I don't like Ben Shapiro says facts don't care about your feelings, but I like the more potty mouth versus fuck your feelings. I like that better.
Yes, I agree with that, and especially since the feelings, the negative feelings, are really just based on nothing. It's just a bunch of virtue signaling douchebags who are like trying to get a rise out of you. They don't really feel this way. Like, the liberals aren't really trying to help black people. They're not really trying to help Muslims. If they were really trying to help Muslims, they'd go over to the Muslim countries and help the women over there. Like, America is the land of the free and the home of the brave, and only in America can you actually mouth off about America.
Exactly. Exactly.
I mean, if white supremacy is responsible for all the problems in America, well, it is one piss poor white supremacist nation, okay? Because a white supremacist nation worth its salt would not let this shit, would not let Black Lives Matter.
No. A part of me is like, well, where's the white supremacy? Because I totally use the N word, so I hope your
I don't care.
audience. Yeah, okay,
no,
but I was
like,
if white supremacy exists, then how you niggas get this far? This is what I tell my own people. Like, how do you get this far? Because first of all, as soon as y'all start marching, talking about some, what do we want? Dead cops. When do we want them now? We done put all of y'all in fucking jail by now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I just don't cater to this. And of course they're gonna call me a coon. Of course they're gonna call me a house nigger. And of course they're gonna call me a white man's bed wench. I don't care about you calling me names. I come from the generation of sticks and stones will break my bones. Also, I was raised in the ghetto, and I was able to get out of that situation. So my whole existence goes against your arguments. You can't even justify your bullshit with me proving you wrong just from my own personal experience.
Well, a lot of these black kids who are like, oh, it's okay for us to say nigga because it's a part of our culture. But then when the white guy says, hey, what's up, man, niggas? He's like, yeah, you can't, no, you can't,
I did a video with Just a Robot, and it was a video that says 24 questions for black people. And one of the things, like, I hate that word. I said, if I can say nigger, so can my white subscribers. I said, so I write it in it, even early on, this was back in August. I said, my white subscribers, stop saying the N-word. They keep typing the N-word. No, and I would get on them. I would really get on them. I say, no, say nigga or nigger. I don't care what it is. Don't say the N-word. The N-word is not allowed here on my on my page. I'm not a hypocrite. If I can say it, you can say it. What's the fuck is words have power where words don't only have the power that you give it. All right. So if I can use it as a term of insulting or indifferent, and I have a video where I use Chris Rock, Blacks Against Niggas.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how we apply it. So when we talk about niggas, we're talking about the ignorant of black people.
Right.
And that they should be called by the name that we are known for them to be.
Right. And not just that. The same people who are going around saying, oh, white people can't say nigga are the first people to label every single white person a honky cracker, in the same breath, in literally the same breath, they'll be like, crackers can't say nigga. I'm just like, oh my God, when did we get to this point? And it's definitely inspired me to come out and just be the best possible troll I could be. If being a troll were in a competitive sport, I feel like I would have Michael Phelps status, but You're absolutely right. I mean, if what's good for the goose is good for the gander, if you ask me. You
Right.
can't really go around there talking about racism, talking about all white people are responsible for this, and then get mad at someone for labeling black folks as far as black on black crime or black motherless households, genocide.
They don't want to address that. They don't want to address the fact that the reason why we have a high on black crime rate is because of the glorification of single motherhood. You know what I'm saying? It's like black women don't want to take accountability that they value being a baby mama than a wife.
Right.
And I get on them all about that all the time. And I'm saying, you can't judge anyone until you look at yourself. And basically that is one of the things I have been adamantly against is single motherhood in the black community. But I also have distanced myself from the black community because I just can't.
Because they're being duped.
Yeah,
and they're idiots.
They're allowing themselves to be duped because I'm like, how is it that you can't see? Brett, let's just use what just happened last week. Let's just use the two murderers, Stevie Stevens, okay, and Corey Ali Muhammad. Now, Stevie Stevens is the pussy ass bastard who came up to the old man. He, instead of him picking a young guy who is more likely going to have a gun on him because he didn't want to do that exchange crossfire, he picked an elderly man who had groceries in his bag, walking on a cane and walking very slowly. Plus, the elder man had a little bit of dementia. So this pussy ass bastard, this pussy ass nigga, picked the weakest on the street and shot him in cold blood, right? But what did mainstream media do? Mainstream media did was put a silhouette saying, we're on the lookout for this guy right here. And it's like,
it's like he's a white black guy.
Right. They did that too. And I was like, the white mainstream media don't give a shit about you, that they won't even show you a killer on the loose in your neighborhood.
Right.
In your neighborhood. Then on top of that, Corey Ali Muhammad. Do you know that murder happened on, I think, on a Tuesday, right? Monday or Tuesday. How about I didn't know that the four men that he killed were three whites and one was a white Hispanic. He's an actual Hispanic, but he looks white. That he purposely shot them because of his color, because I did not know it was a hate crime because the mainstream media never said anything about it. So it's like they keep coddling black people and they keep basically making excuses for my people's ignorant behavior. And I hate that. And that right in itself is for self-destruction. That is going to increase the crime rate. That is not going to make us look at the shit that we do and be accountable for it as well as rectify it.
Right.
And to me, that's the method of the left with everything they do, from gun control to affirmative action to coddling our fucked up behavior. This is all done on white people on the left, and black people don't even realize that they are sleeping with the enemy. And they want to talk about me being a coon. I tell them all the time, I say, y'all Negroes are over there on the Democratic plantation, not even realizing that Massa Hillary and Massa Bill Clinton have been y'all up all this time.
Well, it's the soft bigotry of low expectations. That's what it is. To me, that's the most bigoted thing of all. That whole business about, it's harder for black people to get IDs to vote, and that's why voting laws are just totally racist. I mean, it's like, wow, you think that these people are so stupid, they're so inept that they can't even go to the DMV and get a driver's license or some sort of identification? Look, if you're that dumb, you shouldn't be voting in the first place.
First of all, Shaquita ain't gonna let nothing stand in between her and cashing that check, okay?
Yeah.
So she gonna have her license, and Ray needs that license to go get his 40 ounce beer, okay? So black folks have licenses because they needed to get their check cash and to get their beer and liquor. And that's not going to stop them, all right? So for white people to say that we need voter IDs is racist, that's a racist thing to say, because you're saying that we're so ignorant that and we're so poor. Who can't afford a $15 ID? I mean, that's just, oh,
And
God.
and I'll tell you something too. I don't mind if we make IDs free. If the government's gonna require you to have it, they should give it to you. But you know what? At the same time, it really does. It makes it just it's such a racist contention to accuse an entire group of people of being so inept that they can't even roll over to the DMV to get an ID. And this is just one example that it pervades the entire leftist philosophy. This whole idea that there's white supremacy and everyone else besides cis white men, they're all just victims that are just so inept that they can't take care of themselves. They need big daddy government to come in and save them. And to me, it's the most I can't even imagine being that much of a victim where that would seem sexy to me. Like, hey baby, I'm gonna go get you some welfare. Like, you want to go out? You want to go on a date? I got my food stamps. And now they're doing, food stamps. You can buy like Doritos and chips and candy and beer and stuff like that. You could use them at the convenience store. How about buy some eggs and some chicken and go home and cook yourself some dinner? Right.
Well, once again, this is what I'm talking about, where Black people don't realize that they're sleeping with the enemy. They understand that for the most part, my people don't have self-control when it comes to health. All right. And let's just use me as an example. Okay. Why am I the only fit Black female commentator on YouTube? You see what I'm saying? It's and no disrespect to my sisters Diamond and Silk. Okay. Yeah. No disrespect to them. But it's like I take health very seriously. But I am one of the extreme minorities who believe in staying in shape, staying fit, okay, eating correctly, eating well. And the thing about it is that they understand that if they keep the cheap food, keep the unhealthy food cheap and the actual healthy food expensive, that they understand that Black people are going, for the most part, rather sacrifice their health to go to the club, to buy the new Jeezys, to get the Escalade. They spend it on material things where they rather look nigger rich than to be actually healthy and take priorities in their future, in their retirement fund, and actually in their savings. It's just a mentality of money management.
Look, if you got enough money to go to the club, you should not be on welfare or food stamps. I'm sorry, like entertainment is not a human. It's not a human right to go to the club. I like that nigger rich.
It's a thing.
Yeah, and honestly, that's what most rap music is about too. I don't know about you, but I'm like, if you're gonna glorify murder and fuck the police in the rap songs, you can't really get upset at people for not respecting that sort of, that community. You just can't get mad at that, You can't start accusing other people of racism when you are literally doing exactly what it is that is. I mean, look, if white people were doing the exact same thing, I'd criticize them too.
Actually,
it's human behavior.
Guess what I've learned? Guess what I learned last week?
What?
I learned that Antifa, when they're on their way to Berkeley or any other protest, that they fucking pump the music of rap music, talking about fuck the police, kill the nigga, this, that, and the other. They know all the lyrics of the world so they can get all niggerized, right, yeah. So they can fucking fuck up people. I was like, okay. So you have white kids from upper middle class homes who are gonna gorge out on rap music so they can get niggerized, right, so they can act like one on the streets of Berkeley. But the difference is that niggas know how to fight. These white kids don't. No. Okay?
Did you see Antifa Girl? Of course, that video has been going around. I'll tell you something. At the end of that video, I was like, man, I'm getting these weird feelings. I kind of want to clock her too. I want to clock her right in the face. She deserved it. She had it coming. I'm like anal queen by day, Antifa queen by night. I'm like, you have what's coming to you. Like, you are such a fucking piece of crap. Like, you have everything. You had everything given to you, handed to you on a silver platter, and you go out there being such a piece of shit. Like, you deserve to get. I hope it hurt. I hope it hurt.
Apparently, it didn't do much. When you saw that interview she did 2 days later, I was like, Where's the black eye?
Right.
Where's the mark? Now I'm not saying that the guy that hit her didn't hit her with a punch. He did because he made her cry.
Yeah.
But either that's makeup, either that's some good makeup she put over her head right here, or apparently she could take a good hit to the face.
Right. I don't know why she would want to cover that up though for the interview. She'd probably want to accentuate this.
Exactly. So she can get more money for her GoFundMe account.
Right, which turned out to be a complete disaster. And then when she took the $6,000, she actually put it back into the whole Antifa organization, having nothing to do with hospital bills. You don't go to the friggin' hospital for that. And if you're going to go out, look, this is the kind of community they have. They put the 95-pound girl right out front. And it's just so that they can get this Pallywood.
All their women up front. They put all their women up front. I was talking this with a good friend of mine who's also an ex-Marine. He's a retired Marine, and I said, Antifa is really a weak militia. And I use that word loosely. Where you put your fattest women, because she wasn't the first Antifa girl to get punched. You remember the first one was the one in New York where this huge ass white guy, they was trying to block people from coming by, and I think she had a butch haircut. She might have been just a lesbian. And I guess she got full of herself. He clocked and he actually bust her lip. He clocked her real good. It's on it, but that video didn't go viral like this video. This video,
because it was just such a clean shot, It was a clean shot to the face. We got the side shot. We got you see the arm coming this way.
That's true. That's true because the video of the white guy hitting the first Antifa girl, which was having too much, is not a good. You just see the back of her head go like this. You don't actually see that front row. I thought it was great. I loved it. I said to myself, they want to put these women on the front line, and apparently they don't even realize that these women don't have any fighting skills, but neither do I call them little boys, because they're this big, okay? Yeah. And they only know how to fight in packs. And here's the thing that made me just a little bit mad with our side when we defended ourselves this past weekend from Berkeley. No one up there has mastered the way that Antifa fight. It's really easy to conquer them when you master what they do. Let me explain what I'm talking about. If you're a boxer, an MMA fighter, anyone who's in a competitive fighting match against someone else, one-on-one, you actually watch tapes after tapes after tapes of your future opponent to see what their style is, their conditioning, their habits, their downfall. You
blind spots.
There you go. No one going to Antifa is doing this. And one thing I noticed that Antifa does a lot is they grab one person, pull him to the back so 10 others can beat up on him. All right.
Like hyenas.
Yeah, exactly. Another thing that our side do not do is, first of all, outflank Antifa. You understand that if Antifa is coming from the northbound, southbound, why is all of our people in the southbound? You should have a little bit of our people on the front line in the southbound, but you should also have a good percentage of our people on the northbound ready to block them when they retreat. But make sure you block them in an area where they can't run down another street. So therefore, right before a road intersects, you actually come to the middle of that building and you have all of the Trump supporters, all of the white nationalists or whoever is going to fight, be right there on the front lines. Don't put your women on the front lines. For me, I can fight. But even though I can fight, and even though I'm 6'3", and even though I have a lot of skills in fighting, I would not be on the front line with the men, because I do know that even though I'm strong, I'm not as strong as the men.
What are you, a sexist or something? What do you hate? You hate women? You a self-hating woman?
I could probably kick 5 Antifas like this, and I won't even be on the front line. I'll be like, nah, buddies, I got y'all light work. I'll kick you. Go here, right?
Look, I am not going to fuck with you. I promise. I do not want to get my ass kicked. I promise. I will not fuck with you. Please don't beat me up. I got you on a bottle of water. I'll put you out there. I'll hook you up with some medic, just in case.
I appreciate that. And that's the thing. We're not tactical when we get Antifa. And this probably maybe this probably a cruel streak in me, but I watched the tape and a couple of our people let Antifa go when we could have beat their asses. We're like, y'all go ahead, run.
Right.
I was like, no.
Right. Yeah. No.
Let them go because they do not never show your enemy mercy. And that Saturday, and then again, come on, Brett, we have to admit this is California. They think differently than us because we over here in the South. We don't think that way. You see what I'm saying? So I think that's the reason why they did that.
Well, one of the things that I noticed right away after this whole Antifa girl got punched is that she all of a sudden came to terms with her femininity on her GoFundMe. Yeah. This genderqueer porn star who's like, no slut shaming, none of that. Then she goes on GoFundMe and basically it was like, oh, poor me, 98 pounds wet. She got beat up by a defenseless poor girl, got beat up by a big, strong white guy, white nationalist Nazi.
No, they called him a Nazi.
Yeah, of course.
That's their favorite word. They even called me a Nazi on Twitter. I said, when you call black female a Nazi, you lost. You just look stupid. You just look moronic. But at the same time, this is how they get this sort of Bollywood effect. Where the Muslims, they go out there after an explosion, they get dirt on their face, and then they take pictures of themselves laying on the floor, and then they come back and they're like, you see how imperialistic Israel is and how imperialistic the West is, and the only reason they commit terrorism is because we are just mean to them. Right. Fuck you guys, man. I don't give a damn. And they too love to play the victim too. Saying like, why do you hate us so much? Leave us alone, motherfucker. Leave us alone. You guys are coming over here trying to make us, Muslims and obey Sharia. You're trying to replace the Constitution with Sharia law. You will never do. You may do that in Germany, absolutely, and in Sweden, but you won't do this in my country, the United States of America, baby. That's not going to happen here.
And it goes back to tactics too, because we need some physical tactics when these things actually come along. We need to outflank them. We need to sort of understand them and watch the video, like you said. But we also need to fight this war ideologically. A lot of folks, they were like, a lot of conservatives were like, oh, I don't know about seeing this woman get hit. What am I supposed to say?
Yeah.
And now a whole bunch of people were put in the position of now defending this guy Nathan Domingo, this white nationalist. Yeah. And they're like, oh, I don't know if I should defend this guy. Did he deserve it or did she deserve it? Like, they're putting us in this position. But I think to maintain our fortitude when it comes to not letting ourselves get bullied by these people, bullied into silence, just because the guy is a white nationalist, I might disagree with what he says or what he believes. I might disagree with it, but the guy has free speech rights.
Right.
The guy should, and guess what? I want to know where all the racists and bigots are. I want them to be out there, loud and proud. I'm not afraid of speech because if there's an awful, terrible person, I want them in front of me where we can get a good, strong whiff. I don't want them buried underground like all the Trump supporters were. Because look at what happened. Look at what happened to the Democrats. They pushed the Trump supporters underground. They said, "Oh, you're a Trump supporter. You're a bigot, racist, awful, terrible Nazi." The people go to work and they keep their "Make America Great Again" hats in their car, and no one knew what hit them. They have no idea what hit them. Even like a few minutes before Donald Trump won, they're still saying Hillary's got this. She's going to clean up in the last minute. So I think that regardless of who is saying what, the point is that yes, we should be rallying around this guy's right to free speech.
I actually defended. Don't like neither one of them, but I will defend Richard Spencer and I will defend Nathan. Let me just start with Nathan. First of all, she was there ready to fight. She had a bottle where she was throwing at other Trump supporters, and she also had a fighting glove. Apparently, she saw way too many kung fu movies, and she thought that her little itty bitty self was going to fight men. Okay. So basically, and she looked androgynous to where Nathan, I believe that Nathan didn't know specifically that she was a woman. If let's say, for instance, she did. She came there to fight. And according to liberals, women are supposed to be equal to men.
Right.
So there's no such thing as don't hit her because she's a woman. If you want women to be in the front lines in the army, which I'm against, in war, I don't believe that should be the case. You see what I'm saying?
Agreed.
But if you want that to happen, then this bitch has to follow those same rules that you laid down. And as far as Richard Spencer is concerned, Richard Spencer was standing there minding his business, giving an interview, and he was sucker punched. Yeah. He was sucker punched. Sucker punch is a pussy ass move to make, and it's something that only cowards do. All right.
Right.
And so basically, here's the thing I have to say as a black woman living in the South, and who also agree with you on freedom of speech. What I love about racist white people in the South that I hate about racist white people in the North is that they tell me they don't like me to my face, that they don't like me because I'm black. I know who they are. They are bold enough to say, I don't like you. I don't like niggers. I just want you all to go back to Africa. Dude, it ain't never gonna happen, but thank you for letting me. Thanks for sharing. Whereas a white racist in the North would be like, I love black people.
I'm here to help.
I'm so here to help you. Would you like some affirmative action applications? I love chicken and blah, blah, blah. And then when I'm out of his sight, he calls me all kind of niggas. He try to sabotage everything I do. He do everything against me because I'm black. And that's shady. So here, I love when people let me know where they stand. How is it that you're so weak that you rather people lie to your face?
Right.
Like liberals, they rather people lie to their face and pretend to be something else. And you're trying to take that speech away from them, not realizing that it is to your advantage to know who is on your side and who doesn't. And here's something else that the liberals have done that they didn't even realize was ever going to happen. You're going to have black people and white nationalists join together to beat your ass.
It's the most funny thing. It's like the most funny, strange turn of events that's happened. Like, I am sitting here defending this guy. We're Richard Spencer and Nathan Domingo. Like, holy crap. Like, I'm defending them, And, I'm totally with you 100%. And one of the things that I notice is that it's just so short-sighted. It's just so short-sighted. Don't they realize that this same exact thing can come and bite them in the ass too? One day they're going to need their free speech rights. And you know what? Listen, I might despise true racists, but you know what? You have a right to be as racist and as nasty as you want to be, and reality and life is going to give you whatever just desserts that you have coming to you. And you don't need to outlaw racism like the left wants to do. They want to literally outlaw racism. You can't outlaw racism any more than you can outlaw jealousy.
Right. And that's hypocritical because Black Lives Matter is the racist. They're actually a racist pro-black movement that has a homosexual agenda. I did 2 videos on it. A lot of people didn't realize that this exists. I said, have you ever gone to their website and read their mission statement? You will see that, one, they're all about single motherhood, where the cis black male is nowhere involved, and it's all about white people giving them a land where they can be a community. This is a bunch of bullshit, and it's all about trans women, lesbians, queers, and it's strictly homosexual agenda for black people because if people ever go see that, I don't know what I called it. I don't know if I called it Black Lives Matter, the hidden agenda, something like that. But I was showing how the black community is homophobic, and they do not like gays and gay rights. And this is where Black Lives Matter was able to sneak that in and have black people fight on their behalf. And this is why Black Lives Matter don't care about black on black crime. It's not a part of their mission statement, but they are the racist. They are the blatant racist pro-black movement I have ever seen in the history of time, because they actually came out and said, all white people go to the back. If you see
I saw that. And
I'm like,
white people, white press to the back.
Right.
You saw that big black woman going, white people to the back.
Real big black woman. Real big. I mean, her rolls had rolls. Okay?
I was like, yeah, that's not racist at all.
White people get to the back. I was like, now, if a white person said that, mainstream media would lose their shit, and we would never hear the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
But yet still, they let pro-black movements like Black Lives Matter do and say these racist things, and then have stupid black people get on TV and say black people can't be racist. Hell we can.
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
Yeah, because racism equals prejudice plus power.
I'm
right?
surprised you know the formula. It sounds so stupid to me. I just didn't even listen to it.
I just can't even.
I'm sorry. Say it again. How do they justify the fact that we can't be racist?
Racism equals prejudice plus power. And if you don't have any structural power, this is what one of the UCLA law professors back in the 90s tried to shove down kids' throats in college. This is why college has just become cesspools of leftist propaganda. This lady named Kimberly Williams Crenshaw, she's the one who basically created intersectional feminism, which is where, okay, we're not concerned with women anymore. We're concerned with black women. And now we're not concerned with black women. We're concerned with the trans black women. And then they kept on breaking up the different groups into these more and more particleized groups, and all of a sudden, they had to, the whole idea was that it describes overlapping and intersecting social identities related to systems of oppression. So if you're not in the race or gender or sex, if you're a cis white male, for example, you benefit from the systems of oppression that were put in place long ago. And the only way to solve that is by dismantling the West. So if you're a cis white male, you have privilege. So therefore, any black feminist, any black woman, she's a victim of the white supremacy. And even her black husband, even her black man, the black baby daddy, whatever, he is a part of the system too, because he is a part of the cisgender. So this is what this lady, this total hack. She's a total hack. She quotes Marx. Look, it's just refurbished Marxism. And this is where we get Antifa from. This is why the Muslims, Black Lives Matter, the feminist movement, this is why they've all coalesced in this whole anti-fascist movement. It's not because they like each other. It's because they have a common enemy.
Oh, wow. You taught me something. I had no idea it was that dumb.
Yeah, I know. I know. It's like how people pay to learn this stuff. I can't. You would have to pay me to go sit through one of those classes because.
Wow. I just lost a couple of brain cells. That I was just like, what? Really? Thank God you didn't pay to listen to that bullshit.
I read 60 pages of this woman. I got dumber.
I'm so sorry for you.
Well, because look, listen, the West is such an introspective place. Like I was saying, no white supremacist society worth its salt would let Antifa or Black Lives Matter or these feminist movements or CARE or whatever, they would not let them exist. Okay, right, so, it goes to the point that Westerners generally tend to be very, very introspective. So when someone goes, you're a racist, sexist, bigot, homophobe, and all this, bullshit that they like to toss at you, a lot of us are going, well, what's that all about? I didn't know I was a racist. My best friend is black, and my best friend is gay. My best friend is black. They're like, you can't say that. That's racism. You can't say my best friend is black. I'm like, well, how much less racist can you be than to have a best friend who is black? So this is basically what they want to do. They want to sort of pin you with these labels, and then they want to admonish themselves of any sort of responsibility. So they come up with these strange equations that literally they make you dumber. Do you
think this is more prominent in the blue states like California, New Jersey, and New York? The reason I say this is because if it wasn't for YouTube, I wouldn't even known that the liberals wanted to have at least over 70 genders. I never would have known that was a thing, because I was like, "There's only two genders, male and female." You know what I'm saying? And maybe I'm just around people who think like me, and we don't ever encounter this stupidity. But I don't see that to be prominent on the universities in the South, and I'm open to be wrong, but I haven't seen that, and I'm thinking like, is that a disease on the West Coast and in heavy populated liberal cities or states?
Honestly, I've seen it absolutely everywhere. I mean, and things have happened over the last couple years where look, I run a recording studio, and oftentimes a lot of my clients are black, and they do, funk, soul, R&B. One of my clients, all of a sudden, just one day, we've been friends for years and years and years, okay? All of a sudden came to me one day with this white privilege stuff. I'm like, where did this come from? We've been friends forever.
Wow.
So,
okay.
And she's not even in school. So, look, I definitely think that there is something sinister going on, and I don't think that I don't think that it knows any borders. Communism has global aspirations.
Yeah.
So they're going to put themselves wherever they possibly can, in any little nook and cranny. The nooks and crannies in your reasoning too. I'm sure that there's some people out there going, seems legit, oh yeah, a security guard was watching me at the store and was paying extra attention to me, and I'm black. Okay, they're institutional racism, every white person is a racist now, and we all have this privilege. And you know what I contend? I would say, look, if you're dressed down with your freaking pants halfway down your ass, and you've got a wife beater on, and you've got gold chains and gold teeth, I don't care what color you are. That looks shady.
Actually, I must be racist against my own people, because if I see somebody like that, and I do conceal carry, I'm going to grab my hip just like that. I'm going to grab my hip. Like, you really want to come do something? He could already just probably walking by, not even paying me any attention. I'm on guard because, here's the thing. Where people were complaining about police officers racially profiling. And I totally disagree with that, because when I was a police officer, it had nothing to do with race. It all had to do with criminal activity. This particular person of this particular age group of this particular race were more than likely 8 times out of 10 to commit a crime than any other gender, sex, and as well as age range. So therefore, it's criminal profiling, not racial profiling.
Right.
So even now, as a civilian, I still do that shit, because I know I'm going to have more problems out of a young black male with his pants half off his ass, with his teeth all grilled up, okay, and tattooed down, and basically I'm going to look him in the eye, and this is what I teach the women in my self-defense class, like, give eye contact. Give eye contact for so many reasons, but one of the reasons is you want them to know, I see you. Right. I see you, and I'm not afraid of you. But if you avoid eye contact, they're going to consider that weakness. And this is what I'm talking about. If this particular race of men, which is black men, and this particular age who are wearing these particular clothing are more likely going to try to mug me, attack me, carjack me and rape me, why wouldn't I be on the defense? Why? And if I was a security guard, why wouldn't I be looking at that person? I don't take offense to anyone. And I am being me. I'm around a lot of areas where I'm the only black person. But I don't take offense to anyone being on their guard when they see me. First of all, I'm huge as hell, 6'3" with dreadlocks. Okay, I look like
you look threatening.
I look like. So I'm not going to be offended by that, and I know people are going to be cautious when they see me. But I don't take offense to that, because I understand that someone before me has conditioned this person to think otherwise, and I'm not going to take it personally.
Right. Well, they've created this self-fulfilling prophecy, I think, with the mother, welfare queens and this whole culture that sort of glorifies, glorifies criminality, and that culture, sort of being associated with certain ways of dressing, certain ways of acting, certain style of clothing, whatever, you associate. I mean, if you're going to associate yourself with that, how can you get mad at me for associating you with that?
Right.
How can you get mad? And then it creates this self-fulfilling prophecy where everyone's like, okay, this person is dressed like that. That means that they are a part of this culture, that, that they have this culture that, that glorifies criminality. Of course I'm going to grab my wallet.
Right.
Of course I'm going to grab my butt and be like, all right, make sure it's still there. Sorry, And then they go, racist, you're racist. You grabbed your wallet. You're being careful. And you know what? And that's the thing. And that's another one of the ironies about this. People who are smart and have a sense about them actually care about their own well-being. If you are a part of this criminal culture, you don't really care about your own well-being. You don't have that much to lose.
No, you don't have nothing to lose. And this is the reason why black men are so quick to say, if I die for a nigga, I'm just gonna die for a nigga. You know what I'm saying? I don't care nothing about my life, man. I'm just gonna be laid up. And I'm like, why are you bragging about dying? And this is something that makes my conservative brothers and sisters, and I'm talking about all races on this side. I make them angry when I say, this is why I support abortion. Because if you don't take care of that shit from the giddy up, it's going to grow up, and particularly in the ghetto, it's going to grow up and kill other people because it don't give a fuck about being living because it shouldn't have been born in the first place. You know what I'm saying? They go, oh, Tree, how can you say that? Abortion is wrong. And I said, so is killing a helpless elder who's suffering from dementia, walking down the street minding his own damn business.
You see, I think it would be just so much more like, I'm not going to get mad at you about that. I've got my own sordid history when it comes to that. But, I've come a long way in that regard. But I just don't think it needs to get to that point. Why does it even need to get to the point? And if you want to blame someone for it, you got to blame the liberals. You got to blame the left for encouraging that whole community and that whole culture.
And excusing it.
Yeah. And they're glorifying it. They make it out to be like this great, awesome thing, and it's getting people killed. And then and then we're someone like me I don't support abortion anymore. I used to. A lot of people think that you could, that you couldn't really come full circle on that. And I totally did come. Well, not full circle. I did a 180. If I did a full circle, I'd end up right back where I started. But at the same time, it's that kind of culture that inspires people like you who might otherwise be like, let's protect the babies. Let's protect the most innocent people. Now we're sitting here thinking, well, wow, let's protect the people who are already here so that, if it's just going to be this continuous process, this cycle where these kids are just going to grow up, beat people up, get into the criminality, have more kids, and then the cycle continues, you make a great case for it,
Exactly. And I tell people like this, and I tell my conservatives family, I said, listen, not my biological family. You're my brother. So I like my conservative fam. I say, look at this. I say, I grew up. My mother and father were married. They got divorced when I was 5. So I had a really, really, really typical black upbringing with the switches and the whoopings and the beatings and all the other kind of stuff. And I said, and I witnessed murder. I grew up in Washington, D.C., Southeast, the worst part of Washington, D.C. there ever it is. It was known as the murder capital of the world when I was a little girl. I said, I've seen death and seen people get killed right before my eyes at the age of 6 on up until I got out of the ghetto. I said, so watching my people kill not only each other, but kill other people, especially white people because they're white, why would I be for their lives being saved over the innocent? To me, to me, and I understand it, maybe if I never grew up the way I did, maybe if I didn't witness everything I did, and then became a cop and saw the worst. When you're a police officer, when you're a first responder, you see the worst of humans. Okay, that will skew your belief system, or that will skew your whole entire, your morals as far as abortion is concerned. I don't think I think after everything I have seen, had I grew up in an upper middle class home environment and never witnessed so much violence, including death after death after killing, I probably wouldn't think this way. But I'm too far gone to where I have seen so many innocent people be killed for nothing over some little bastard. And I'm not saying that to be insulting. Yeah, over an actual bastard who don't even know his daddy. His mama's working 2 jobs because she can't afford to actually take care of him staying at home. The streets are raising him. They're raising a criminal who goes to jail to learn how to be a better criminal. What is the point of his existence?
Yeah, and it's just like the folks who say, an Islamophobe is just someone who knows a little bit too much about Islam. That's what they call him. Because you know what? I'm scared of Islam. But it's not right. And it's not an irrational fear either. A phobia is an irrational fear. Like, I'm afraid of the cracks on the sidewalk. Like a fear of Islam is totally and utterly rational, if you ask me. If someone's coming for you with a knife and going, I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna kill every last one of you, and you're just like, oh, that's pretty scary. You're like, bigot.
There's so many verses within the Quran that tells them to kill us, and I always tell, and this makes liberals really mad. I say, you know what? Muslims who kill people who are not Muslims are good Muslims. No, they're not. No, I said, no. Yeah, they are. I said, they are. I said, because they are actually doing what the Quran and their prophet has told them to do. Kill the infidels wherever you see them, wherever you find them, okay? And strict terror in their heart. That came out of the Quran.
It's pretty explicit, though. It's so explicit. It's like, I love it how... I love it how in Iran they sing "Death to Israel, Death to America" every single week, and John Kerry for years was just like, "Oh, that's so cute, so adorable." It's like they're just saying things. They're just, and then of course you flip the mirror, you flip it around, and then he's turning around going that every single Westerner has implicit bias, and like that's the worst thing that could possibly. Oh my God! It's just, I swear, I hate. Did you see that meme where the most interesting man in the world goes, "I don't always hate liberals." Oh, no, I haven't. He goes, "Oh, who the fuck am I kidding? I hate every goddamn last one of them." That's one of my favorites. That's one of my favorite memes ever.
You gotta send that to me. I haven't none of that at all.
I'll make you one. I'll make one special for you.
Appreciate it.
So you're a bigot, racist. I'm a sexist. I'm a bigot. I'm a complete jerk.
Remember, a white liberal called me a Nazi on Twitter, so I have to claim that.
These foolish white intellectuals who go around like they came straight out of the hood and they're like, Black Lives Matter, Black Lives. I'm like, actually, I think all lives matter. So you don't think Black Lives Matter?
That's what all consists of, you dumbass.
Right.
Black, white, Hispanic, it consists of all races.
Right. Yeah. We're not saying that all lives don't matter. We're just saying that Black lives matter. See? It's like
no logic whatsoever.
No logic whatsoever. Anyway, man, I could just go on forever talking with you. You're pretty fun. You're pretty awesome. Can we be friends? So I could tell everybody that I have a black friend. I have a black friend, everybody. Guess what? I'm not a racist. You see?
Absolutely.
Wow, this has definitely been real, and I definitely want to have you back on. Do you want to come back on sometime? Would you?
Anytime. I enjoyed talking with you. It was fun.
Where can we get you? We can find you at Tree of Logic on YouTube, and
also on my website treeoflogic.com. But if you go to my channel, if you go to YouTube, just put, and I'm in the search engine. All you got to do is put Tree of Logic and I come up. I'm so proud of myself. I haven't even been on YouTube for a year yet. And as soon as you put Tree of Logic, it goes Tree of Logic against Islam, Tree of Logic against doesn't matter, Tree of Islam against feminism. I was like, woo-hoo, I made an impact on YouTube.
Oh my God, I hate your guts. Seriously, I need me some tits, I think.
Yeah, that'll work.
I need me some boobies. I just need to hey everybody, guess what? I'm here Roaming Millennial, she's absolutely gorgeous and awesome. But you know what? I've been doing the Disgruntled Millennial for way longer than her, and she's just whizzing right by me. I'm just, fucking bitch. I swear I need some tits.
Yes, it's a lot of privilege to have tits.
There's titty privilege. You know what I always say about privilege? There is one kind of privilege, I think, and this transcends race, gender, sexual orientation, anything. It's just the gifts of good genetics. You know, the gifts of intelligence, the gifts of beauty, you know, those kinds of gifts are, you know, that is definitely a privilege. You know, I think that that's one of the things that, you know, I don't think that there should be any guilt associated with it. Like, that's about as far as it goes. That's as far as it goes. But, you know, it is a privilege, I think, to be smart. And it is also a little bit of a curse, too, because then you start to see everything that's going on. You're like, holy shit, what sort of shit show was I born into, you know?
I agree.
All right, we'll cut it off there, and I'm so glad you came on the show, and I'm definitely going to be blasting this off on YouTube and on iTunes and on my SoundCloud and all the other. I work for Kevin Jackson. Do you know who Kevin Jackson is? He's a Fox News commentator.
I don't know who that is. But is that the one? Is that the one who I thought I was talking to, or somebody else?
That's the one you thought you were talking to. Yeah.
I don't know who he is. I just see what happened. I'm hardly ever. I'm not that active on Twitter, but I look at my mentions, and when someone said, "Hey," because I had two people ask me, you were one of them. I instantly went to the Twitter to see who you were and what you're about. So the first name I saw was his. So I was like, okay,
right.
How do I contact this person? So I went to the website, saw the contact. That's how I don't even know who he is. So it's like I just assumed that that's who I was talking to.
He's a syndicated radio host, and I sort of sub in for him sometimes. I'm his bench warmer. I'm the token white guy on his show.
You know what? Like, you mean his ball washer?
He's a ball washer. Kevin, she thought I was your ball washer, not your bench warmer. I love you, bro. I love you, bro, but never.
I was having a good time. I was tired that day. That was my excuse. I'm sticking to it.
I was like, I love you, bro, but that's never gonna happen. Yeah, I'm his token white guy. I go on there to give the more vanilla perspective. But no, he's a black conservative who wrote Race Pimping. He wrote a couple books. He's a Fox News commentator. Really good guy. I signed on so I could repair my white guilt, of course.
Okay.
I acknowledge my privilege and repair my guilt. So I work for a black man now. So.
Oh, cool. Look, then you definitely got some privilege now. You work for a black. Your boss is black. Oh yeah, you in there.
And the liberals are like, wait a minute, so you have a black boss? Oh, that's pretty awesome. You're repairing your privilege. And I'm like, oh yeah, it's Kevin Jackson. And they're like, he doesn't really count. No.
He doesn't count.
He likes free markets.
Yeah. No, he's on the wrong side. No. No.
Oh, I could totally do this all day, but we'll cut it there again for the third time, and we'll definitely be in touch. I hope we do this again. I definitely hope we do this again.
Just let me know when, and I'll check my schedule. And it's absolutely a done deal.
Awesome. Thanks.
All right, take care.
You too. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Brett Siegel, the Disgruntled Millennial. You can get me on Facebook at the Disgruntled Millennial. You can get me on SoundCloud at the Disgruntled Millennial, YouTube, the Disgruntled Millennial, or Twitter at Shaq General. I also have a Patreon page if you want to donate to keep some of these videos coming. It would really, really help us out.